I am wearing 50 shades of brown right now. Ooh, 50 shades of brown. That would be a very, I don't want to think about what kind of video that would be. Hey guys, what's up? It's Sunny, and welcome to a video all about aesthetics. More particularly, the Neapolitan aesthetic. You might be asking, Neapolitan like the ice cream? And yes, Neapolitan like the ice cream. Today I'm going to be transforming myself and trying out a new aesthetic that I haven't really tried before. And I'm just going to be talking and like rambling on about aesthetic culture, where I fit into that, how it has evolved from when I first became an aesthetic influencer back in the day, and my general thoughts on what it means to have an aesthetic, how to craft your own aesthetic, and why the word aesthetic is an ever-evolving term in terms of Gen Z. I sat down and put together this makeup look while talking about all that, but before we get into me sitting down and doing my makeup, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Uniwigs. I was holding the box upside down. See, I have some beautiful blonde hair in my hair, and no, I did not dye my hair. These are actually little extension clip-in hair pieces that Uniwig sent me to show you guys how awesome it is to be able to change up your look without dyeing or damaging your hair in any way. I'm a big advocate for hair health, and so I absolutely love little silly solutions like this where you can have some fun with your hair, but at the end of the day, your hair will still maintain its health. I'll get more into this in the portion of the video where I actually style my hair, but thank you Uniwigs for sponsoring this video. There will be a link in the description to them if you want to check them out. They sell hair toppers, extensions, wigs, obviously anything you can think of. So if you are in the market for some really nice human hair products, be sure to check them out. But without further ado, let's get into the makeup. So what it really boils down to is like, what is an aesthetic in the year 2024? I know that a majority of my followers follow me because of this word, aesthetic. And I've never really been one to really think too hard about what that means. But at the end of the day, I was the embodiment of this word when I was in like late high school, early 20s. I'm taking this Bobbi Brown vitamin enriched face base to prime my face. If you Googled aesthetic, my picture came up pretty much. I was the face of the formerly known art hoe, now more referred to as like plant mom, or like the 2017 aesthetic. That is why I have followers on the internet. People pinned my photos on Pinterest. I was an aesthetic influencer. I'm taking the e.l.f. Hydration Camouflage Concealer in the dewy kind, and I use this as my foundation. Do not judge me. It actually works really good. The plant mom aesthetic at its core was someone who was super artsy. It was really heavily based off of like the art student aesthetic. And overall, it definitely had like a basis in being creative. It was super body positive. Anyone could wear it. Anyone could do it. Obviously, it was majorly skinny white teenagers with rich parents who did this aesthetic, as it usually is for every single aesthetic, because as I've gotten older, I have learned that, yeah, it's not really realistic to replace your entire wardrobe and change your entire look every time a new aesthetic name drops. Which is why this video is focusing on the Neapolitan aesthetic, because these new types of aesthetics are pretty much the opposite of the aesthetics that I grew up being a part of and like building a community around on the internet. Because really this aesthetic is super contained to people who were already in the larger aesthetic of like kawaii culture and J fashion and such what and so forth. That's why I can easily make this video, because I already own things to make a Neapolitan core, Neapolitan aesthetic outfit without buying anything, which is really like the whole point in this. Is I want to talk about aesthetic hopping and how I stopped aesthetic hopping and I found like my aesthetic, right? The word aesthetic in my eyes has sort of evolved to where before, when people were like, oh, my aesthetic is this, my aesthetic is that, it was a group that was easily identifiable by like key pieces that they owned in their wardrobe. For instance, like the basic girl aesthetic is like a Stanley cup and platform Uggs and stuff like that. But I feel like the word has expanded more in the slang meaning to where your aesthetic is your own aesthetic and you use these aesthetics to describe your aesthetic, but you're not one of them. My overall aesthetic is like Pinterest clean girl, kawaii J fashion, hime aesthetic with like a little bit of Neapolitan and a little bit of soft girl. Like those are all aesthetics that fit into my personal aesthetic. And I think this is a great way to reinvent the whole I'm aesthetic, I want my whole life to be aesthetic thing. I'm setting my face with the Bobbi Brown vitamin enriched pressed powder because it allows for there to be some sort of personality injected into the aesthetic. I can say with 100% fact that I did not care about Van Gogh or any of that nonsense that I had all over my walls when I was in the plant mom aesthetic. I do not care about art in that way, but it was part of the aesthetic, so I literally had Starry Night socks and a Starry Night poster on my wall. In the words of my brother, I was a poser. The eyeshadow I'm using for this look is a mixture of the e.l.f. x Dunkin' Donuts palette and then this Coastal Scents palette, just so that I have a bunch of different pinks. Neapolitan look, because if you don't know, Neapolitan is like the ice cream, brown, white, and pink. Obviously the hair and outfit is going to have all of them, but on my base I'm going to put in my blonde hair extensions, so I have brown and blonde hair, and then I'm going to have this on my eyes as pink. A lot of people misunderstand when people in our generation use the word aesthetic because I don't think they understand that it's sort of just like a replacement for the word of like personal style. Like I know a lot of people back in the day like made fun of people being like, what do you mean like plant mom aesthetic? But it is truly just a label at the end of the day. If someone knows what the plant mom aesthetic was, or knows what Neapolitan aesthetic is, or knows what any of like these aesthetic subgroups are, it's super easy to just say these two words and have someone instantly have like a Pinterest board in their brain of what your vibe is. And I feel like this is truly like a generational thing. Like my mom has a personal style, right? Like my mom is like granola hippie Venice beach core, right? That's my mom's aesthetic, but my mom doesn't think she has an aesthetic, right? She just would call that her personal style. And I've also seen over the years a lot of people think like my aesthetic and everything looking like this is like kind of ridiculous. People in real life, like friends that I've made in real life, have come into my house and been like you have your life so together, your home is so aesthetic, like I could never. And I always think it's a little bit odd of a statement. I'm taking this sparkly white shade and I'm gonna put it on my upper eyelid. I always think that's a slightly weird statement because like at the end of the day, you also needed to buy throw pillows for your sofa. You also needed to buy pans and cookware for your kitchen. The only difference for me is that I had a vision in my brain when I went into the store and I didn't buy these things until I could find one that fit the vision that I had. That's really what an aesthetic is. It's having something that you like and sticking with it in all aspects of your life, right? Like it's your fault. Like if you don't think your house is aesthetic, why did you buy one green pillow, one orange pillow, one blue pillow, a purple couch, and a yellow rug when you love neutrals? Why didn't you buy neutrals? Obviously there's like situations where this doesn't apply, like if you are low on funds and stuff like that. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people that have the means to have an aesthetic but don't seem to grasp that an aesthetic is literally just picking a group of colors and a style of things and sticking to it and only having that in your life. I actually don't adhere to this in one aspect, and that is my clothes. When I leave my house, my aesthetic does not need to match the aesthetic of my home. 9 times out of 10 it does, because I genuinely do enjoy this like soft girl Pinterest aesthetic that I have chosen for, you know, the place I spend the most time. I'm gonna take this pink and darken it up because I feel like I don't have enough pink going on. But I have multiple closets in my house. I have this one right here. I have this one that's like my princess dresses. I have this one over here that's all of my black and dark colored clothes. I have all of my like streetwear and like winter clothes in my kitchen. And then in my bedroom, in my chest of drawers, I have like my normal everyday like athletic clothes and like normie clothes, as one might call it. So I do break free of my aesthetic, which I think is a good thing, because a lot of people seem to think that if they choose an aesthetic, that they are going to be like put in a box and that they can't break out of it. But that is so not true. As long as you have an aesthetic, you can make anything work within your aesthetic. Like I can combine all my wardrobes together and have the pieces work together, or I can separate them and give myself a completely different look. I'm gonna do my mascara now. Obviously there's stuff I need to do for the makeup, but I want to get this out of the way so that way my eyelashes can start drying. I'm starting by curling them. And then I'm using the Heroin Make Long and Curl Mascara Advanced Film. This is mascara that has little hair fibers in it, so it really makes your eyelashes look long. I've never really understood the people that think that like, oh, you must be so fun at parties, like everything is about the way that you look, when you have like a very cohesive, put together style. Because at the end of the day, all I did was put in an extra 5 minutes before I went shopping to actually think about my purchases. And then when I get dressed, all of my clothes go together. If anything, I am less maintenance because I don't just buy things based off of a vibe or a feeling. I put thought into a lot of stuff when I purchase it. Not so much a lot of thought has to go into when I'm actually getting dressed or in my day-to-day life. Like, I don't think that people understand that not a lot of thought actually has to be put into having a cohesive aesthetic past like when you initially decide that this is a style that you like enough to stick with. Bobby just barked in the middle of my sentence. Because like, yes, if I tomorrow decided that I wanted to fully do like a cyber goth aesthetic, like, yeah, that would be an intense change. But after a couple months of thrifting and collecting stuff, like, it's not hard to stick to an aesthetic once you own the clothes, once you know, understand at a fundamental level how to get the look that you want to achieve across to others. That also brings me into the topic that, yes, aesthetics like this are so not something that someone has to have, and they're also so materialistic because let's say you want the clean girl aesthetic, right? Obviously, there's so minimal that goes into that look. It's literally like, for makeup wise, it's like mascara, it's like a really sharp brow. There's also a body type that goes along with it, but we're not going to get into that yet. But really, at the end of the day, if you really want people to understand, like when you're out and about in public, that you are channeling that clean girl aesthetic energy, you really just need like Lululemon, expensive, Uggs, expensive, Stanley Cup, expensive. And you'll be giving that aesthetic. Like, that's not a lot of work you have to put into it, but it is a lot of money, which is why I like older aesthetics, or aesthetics that are based more in like a sub-genre of like alt fashion. For instance, Neapolitan style is very heavy in like Y2K styled pieces, which are so easy to thrift. And also the pink, white, and brown aesthetic was super popular in the early 2000s, which means the thrift stores is full of stuff for this aesthetic. It's also a part of like J fashion and like kawaii fashion, which means that like your possibilities for like shopping and expanding into this fashion are endless. And also, if you decide in like a year that you aren't into the Neapolitan core look, brown skirts can be paired with so many different aesthetics. White blouses can be paired with so many different aesthetics. Pink is in so many different aesthetics, especially if you're into like J fashion and kawaii core styles. You're not going to be like, in a year, I hate all of my pink clothing. Unless you're someone who is buying into an aesthetic that they're not really, you know, fully invested in. For instance, I hate the color yellow, and my whole thing was yellow for like years. Like, I literally thought my favorite color was yellow. I do not like the color yellow, guys. I don't really have a favorite color. I might say right now it's pink, but I don't think it is. I genuinely like neutrals. And that might be boring to say, but I do like neutrals. I'm taking the e.l.f. brow lift thing, and I'm going to like do the faux lamination on my brows, but I'm not going to do it super intense. I'm going to do it very, very little today. I don't want to look like the embodiment of 2016 eyebrows. That's another thing with aesthetics, is a lot of people, when you see something that a lot of people are wearing all at once, and then you slowly start seeing people not wearing it, that is not an aesthetic to me. That is obviously just like trend hopping. Like, there are people to this day who still wear the plant mom aesthetic. They are someone who found an aesthetic that they like and they vibe with it, and it's more of like a lifestyle to them than just like they are parading around in an aesthetic that is popular, but it's not their aesthetic. I'd say when I was in Plant Mom, even though that was my entire life, because like it kind of accidentally became that way, I wouldn't say that that was like my aesthetic to the core. Right now, what I'm living, this like clean girl look that I have going on with this Pinterest aesthetic, this easily adapted so much more into my everyday life that I feel like this is like the aesthetic that is my aesthetic, not an aesthetic I saw on the internet that I have to try really hard to copy and stuff like that. And also when other people stop liking this aesthetic, it's going to stick with me, which I think is the key, like, to finding an aesthetic and sticking with it. You kind of have to be okay with, at some point, what you're wearing isn't going to be what is on the front page of Pinterest. It's not going to be the videos that pop up on your For You page from the fashion girlies that you follow, because to have an aesthetic, you have to stick true to it, right? And that's not always the easiest when, like, every single week there's a new trend on TikTok that you want to follow. But it's also, like, incorporating the trends that are happening right now into your aesthetic. You can always take a current trend and then fit it into your aesthetic. Like the people who take the black Stanleys and they add like chains on them and they make them like goth, that is so cute, and I love that, because like obviously Stanleys are not fitting your like mall goth aesthetic, right? But then you take them and you make them that way. Or like the people that took the Crocs and put like chains and studs on them. I love that. I think that is like the perfect way to like play into trends and not feel like you're missing out on like the current trends, but still stick true to your aesthetic. Someone who I really admire on the internet is Mia Sayoko. She literally was like the saturated beauty guru aesthetic. She kept to an aesthetic for so long. And then she like came back on the internet, right? And she has like full tattoos all over her body. She's like a bodybuilder, and you can just tell that like she found her look. She found what she likes and she's stuck with it. And it's honestly so inspirational, because like she painted her room like dark green, like her whole bedroom, and she put like antique frames up, and it was very like giving like antique goth creepy core. And everyone was kind of like, oh my, because her last house was very much like Urban Outfitters Pottery Barn aesthetic, right? But she stuck true to this. Her room has looked like this for a long time, and she's happy with it. And honestly, like when the whole internet is telling you like, girl, oh, I'm wearing this Can Make pink blush on the upper part of my cheeks, kind of going for that like Japanese like sick makeup look. If you know, you know. And honestly, like her 360 with her aesthetic was intense. Like she went from like no tattoos, super like preppy, to getting like 30 tattoos in a year. Obviously that's an extreme case, and obviously that's not something that a normal person could do, because that's really expensive, but it was really cool. I really recommend, if you don't know who she is, to look her up, because her aesthetic is fantastic. I really want someone to count how many times I said the word aesthetic in this video. Now, you're probably like, I don't know what my aesthetic is. Like, I literally don't even know where to start to figure out what my aesthetic is. I'm gonna put this Peri Pera lip velvet in Celeb Deep Rose on my lips, and then like smooth it out. I'm gonna blend it out with this Sephora lippy stick in the shade Unfiltered. And honestly, like, you naturally are drawn to things. That is what your aesthetic should be, is what you're like naturally drawn to, because if you force yourself to like buy things that are for a different aesthetic, like an aesthetic that you first of all, weren't naturally able to achieve at all, because like I think that the way that you have to find your aesthetic is to stop and look around your room and see what you have the most of that's cohesive. Because like if you want an aesthetic and you've liked this aesthetic for a really long time, but you have nothing in your wardrobe or nothing in your house that like looks like that aesthetic, it's probably really hard for you to find stuff to fit that aesthetic, and that's gonna be super hard for you over the course of time if you literally can't find anything to fit it. So look around your space and see what you have, see what you like, and just be more meaningful. My forehead is peeling. We're gonna ignore that. Be more meaningful when you're out shopping, and slowly over time, you can build up a wardrobe and up home decor, room decor of your personal style, and the aesthetic really comes after that. I'm putting this Dior Skin Nude Air Luminizer in the shade 002 on like the tip of my nose and on my cheeks. It's a highlighter, but it's like a very faint highlighter. Do this last because it sometimes gets glitter all over. I'm taking this Etude House palette. It's one of their quads from a couple years ago, and I'm taking this shimmery pink eyeshadow in it, and I'm gonna put that on my upper eyelid. And I'm also just gonna take it on this tiny little brush, and I'm gonna put it under my eye just to enhance my aegyo-sal a little bit more. Yeah, that did get glitter all over my face, but that's okay. I'm gonna contour my nose just a little bit with this Mugi Lean palette. I'm just gonna mix these two like neutral brown shades. But just like look around your house, see what you have. When you go shopping, see what you're naturally drawn to and try to be not thinking of what other people want and think about what you want. What colors do you like? What celebrities fashion are you naturally drawn to? I'm also gonna take a little bit of this in my cheekbones just to give me a little bit of facial definition. Because truly, if you at the end of the day mostly have pink and white clothes and you've been drawn to pink and white clothes, but you see one Instagram post of this super goth witchy influencer and you say that's the aesthetic that I want, that, and you're like, wow, she's really pretty, I really want to look like her. That might not be the most attainable thing for you, and also it would be easier for you to find a way to integrate some of her aesthetic into your aesthetic that you already naturally have. Okay, our makeup is done. It is a super simple, just pink, really soft, airy look. And now we are getting into the hair portion of this video, which is kindly sponsored by Uniwigs. I've worked with Uniwigs in the past for some hair toppers to do fake bangs. Honestly, they make such good hair pieces. All of their hair is honestly super good quality. I need to wipe my hands off. I have glitter all over my fingers. Yes, I'm wiping it on my rug. I don't care. That's so not aesthetic of me. They are going to help us achieve the brown, pink, and white part of this look because they provided me two hair extensions. They provided me these two hair extensions, which are super fun. They are human hair and they feel super good. And I got them in this really beautiful natural blonde. It's not like a stark white blonde, which is what I wanted for the Neapolitan aesthetic, because I feel like this shade of blonde really does draw back to like the Y2K theme that the Neapolitan aesthetic really has a heavy influence in. Look a little crazy because I braided them last night because I braided my hair because I wanted this like wavy look for this video, but I didn't get these wet, like my hair was wet, so they're not as wavy as my hair. That's my mistake, not Uniwigs. really have this like natural blonde look to them, including roots at the top, which I really like, especially because I have naturally dark hair. I feel like that'll just blend them in a little bit, considering this is clearly very different than my natural hair color. Put all of the information for these specific hair pieces in the description below, as well as a link to Uniwigs and all of the information that you might need to buy from them in the description below. As well as the exact color of these that I got, in case maybe these look like your actual hair, or if you just want these exact colors to clip in. There are so many ways you can clip these in. If you had shorter hair and you were going to wear a hat, you could literally do like the 2020 e-girl strands with these. Obviously, with my hair, I can't clip these up here because I have extremely long hair. But for normal length hair, these are extremely long, beautiful extensions. I'm going to be clipping these in the underneath of my hair to give me that sort of peekaboo style that was really popular in the 2021-2022 era. I'm going to separate my hair just at the base, and I'm just gonna pull this all forward and do it one side at a time. I'm going to take this clip. If you've never used extensions, they have a clip at the end like this, and you literally just put this in your hair and then clip it like that. If you were going to be going anywhere with this hair in, I would back comb it and hairspray it just so you get a tighter hold, but I'm literally not going anywhere, so I'm not going to do that. In fact, I'm going to ballet practice after this, so I really don't want a bunch of hairspray in my hair. I'm clipping these literally right at the base of my neck because I just want them to look like the underside of my hair is dyed blonde. Oh my god, which that totally looks so cute. Like already, because I'm wearing a pink sweatshirt, I'm giving Neapolitan. Like this is so cute. Oh my god. Wait, I love it. If you guys remember in 2020, I actually had my hair dyed like this, and it's low-key making me want to do it again, but I'm not gonna. That's why these hair extensions are so good, because you can test out having like a peekaboo without actually like damaging your hair. Oh my god, wait, it like brightened up my face so much. Wow, I love that. Okay, let's back this camera up and let's get into the outfit portion of this video, shall we? This is one of the many wardrobes I have in my house where I like separate my clothes by aesthetic. This one, as you can see, has a lot of pinks and browns and neutrals. I have a lot of cute pieces that'll work for this outfit, but I know for a fact 100% I want to wear this skirt that I got, this like ruffly Y2K aesthetic. I'm only going with that for today's look. I've been really wanting to style this like pink knit New York & Company sweater that I got, so we're gonna pull that out too. I'm not sure if that will work. This little white frilly blouse would also, I think, look really cute layered over the top of that, possibly. So we're gonna pull that out. As a backup though, I'm also gonna pull out this pink shirt because this is like my go-to aesthetic pink shirt right now. So that also could be an option. It's also the better pink color for this aesthetic. And then while we're here, I'm just gonna pull out the shoes that I'm wearing. These are from Shein. They're just some like Lolita inspired shoes. They're brown, and that's really the only reason why I'm pulling them out. Okay, here's the base outfit. For accessories, I'm really keeping it simple. I'm just going to put on these brown nylons and these brown leg warmers. I really want to elongate my legs because I'm short. And also this is just fitting into like the J fashion sort of schoolgirl-esque style that a lot of these outfits follow. My outfit isn't going to have plaid in it, which is like a staple of Neapolitan aesthetic. As you've seen from like the Pinterest photos I've popped up in the duration of this video. But I don't have a plaid skirt, and I genuinely find it a little hard to style plaid skirts in my wardrobe. So I'm not gonna buy one just so I can fit this like micro trend aesthetic that is popping up. So I'm gonna get dressed and I will come back in the final outfit. And here's the finished look with the leg warmers and everything. The thing about trying out new aesthetics is like you're not gonna look as put together as someone who wears this aesthetic every single day and purposefully buys pieces to like fit that aesthetic. But honestly, I think that's okay because it's just having fun with fashion. And at the end of the day, nobody you see on the street when you wear this outfit to like go to the mall or get Chipotle knows what Neapolitan aesthetic is or exactly what Pinterest vibe you're going for. They're just gonna see you and think that like you're wearing a cute outfit. Do you know what I mean? Also, like, I love the fact that I was able to pair my everyday purse that I already wear every single day with this, and it, like, fits in seamlessly because it has this, like, creamy white color and brown. Like, pieces of this outfit that are just, like, in my everyday life. Like, the leg warmers are for figure skating. The shoes are for a Lolita coordinate that I have. I thrifted this sweater for, like, $3 at Goodwill a while ago and just have never had the chance to style it. Now I'm wearing it. But yes, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment below what your favorite like niche aesthetic is right now or what your personal aesthetic is. I love to go on Pinterest and look up aesthetics and get inspiration for what I'm wearing. Once again, thank you to Uniwigs for sponsoring this video, and I will put their links in the description. It would mean a lot to me if you checked them out if you are in the market for some new hair. Now I'm gonna go because while I am dressed for winter, it is currently 83 degrees outside and I am dying. I love Arizona. Also, shout out to the Neapolitan girlies. How do you get all of your browns to be the same color? I am wearing 50 shades of brown right now. Ooh, 50 shades of brown. That would be a very, very... I don't want to think about what kind of video that would be. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!